Hello, my ghost ghouls and goblins. This will be the first video of my channel. I'm hoping that it turns out the way I want it to. We're going to be talking about the best monsters, in my opinion, um, in literature and movies. So make sure you like the video, maybe subscribe if you want, and comment down below what do you want to see next. Um, and let's get right into it. So, monsters have always haunted our stories, whether they crawl out of the shadows, lurk in the woods, or step straight out of our nightmares. Today, I'm diving into some of the best monsters in literature and movies, in my opinion, from more recent icons like Art the Clown to eerie legends like the Mothman, all the way back to chilling folklore creatures like Krampus. We're going to explore what makes these monsters so unforgettable. Grab your flashlights, lock the doors, and let's get into it. Alright, let's start with Art the Clown. Because honestly, he's one of the most terrifying modern monsters out there. If you've seen the Terrifier movies, you know exactly what I mean. Art is this demon dressed up like a black and white clown, and he doesn't say a single word the entire time. That's what makes him so creepy. He just stares at you, smiles, and then does the most brutal, messed up things imaginable. Now, the Terrifier films are infamous for how graphic they are. People have literally passed out, thrown up, even walked out of the theaters because they couldn't handle it. And honestly, that's kind of what makes Art stand out. He doesn't just kill, he torments. He takes time to play with his victims, and you can tell he enjoys every second of it. There's one scene in particular the horror fans call the bedroom scene. If you've heard of it, you know exactly why. It's gone viral because of how gruesome it is. The director, Damien Leon, actually said he got the idea after seeing a crime scene photo of one of Jack the Ripper's victims and thinking, what could he have done to leave her like that? And boom, that became one of the most infamous moments in modern horror. What makes Art such a monster, in my opinion, it's is that he's basically unstoppable. You can't kill him, he's silent, and has this weird mix of being funny and terrifying at the same time. Like like one second he's moving around like a cartoon character, and the next he's absolutely tearing someone apart. The contrast makes him way scarier than the average slasher. And honestly, as messed up as he is, I love the character. The design, the eerie personality, the way he's portrayed, it's all so well thought out. And Art isn't just another clown villain. He's in a league of his own. One of the eeriest scenes was when Art walked out wearing the skin of a woman. His mannerisms were dainty yet concerning, and he'd sway from side to side as he walked. So, after talking about someone as brutal and bloody as Art the Clown, I want to shift gears to a monster that's just as fascinating, though in a very different way. My next monster is the legendary Mothman, and I've got to be honest, I absolutely adore this creature. He's described as this large black figure with massive wings and glowing red eyes. He's really all there That's really all there is to his appearance, but it's enough to stick in your brain forever. Sadly, my sister didn't know about Mothman when we were swimming in the pool one night years ago. I wanted to scare her by saying I saw him, but again, she didn't know what I was talking about. She was still scared though. Alright, Mothman first gained attention in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, between 1966 and 1967. Witnesses claimed to see him multiple times leading up to a disaster. The Silver Bridge collapsed in December of 67, which killed 46 people. Some believe Mothman caused the tragedy, but I see him differently. To me, he's more of a warning sign, a premonition, like a messenger showing up before something terrible happens. And sites haven't stopped. People have reported seeing Mothman in modern day America too. People like Places like Chicago and Pennsylvania. Now, do I want another tragedy to happen? Absolutely not. But if I'm being real, I would love to see Mothman with my own eyes. I genuinely believe in him. And on a funny note, I actually have this little patch that says Mothman believes in me, which I think is funny and comforting, honestly. Alright, my next monster is one of my absolute favorites from folklore, Krampus. Now, if you grew up hearing about. Sorry, there's a big truck going by. Now, if you grew up hearing about Santa Claus rewarding the good kids, Krampus is, well, the guy who handled the bad kids. He's this terrifying horned goat like demon covered in fur and long claws, fangs, and sometimes even a massive tongue hanging out. Not exactly the Christmas cheer we're used to. According to Alpine tradition, Krampus would travel with St. Nicholas, while Nick handed out gifts and candy. Krampus carried chains, switches, and a big sack. The idea was that he'd either whip you, drag you away, or straight up haul you off to hell if you were naughty. And kids thought coal in the stockings were bad. What I love about Krampus is that he represents how folklore mixes fear with morality. Uh, he's basically a monster created to scare children into behaving, and it worked. For hundreds of years, people celebrated Krampusnacht, which I probably said that wrong, which is actually Krampus Night, um, December 5th, where folks dressed up in scary costumes, paraded through the streets, and reminded everyone that the holidays could be horrifying. And of course, Krampus has made his way into modern pop culture, from the 2015 horror comedy film to comics to artwork. He's become the spooky holiday icon. He's festive, yet he's terrifying, and honestly, he makes the Christmas season way more interesting. Personally, I think Krampus is one of the best monsters because he's not some mindless creature. He's a symbol. He's got history, tradition, and he's proof that even the most cheerful times of the year has its shadows. And let's be real, he's just plain cool. Alright, now we have to talk about one of the most iconic movie monsters in history, the Xenomorph from Alien. If Art the Clown is horrifying because of his brutality and Krampus is terrifying because of his folklore, the Xenomorph is nightmare fuel because it feels so alien in every sense of the word. This creature goes through multiple life stages: face hugger, chest burster, and then the full grown Xenomorph, and each stage is just as terrifying as the last. The chest, the chest burster scene, absolute horror legend. Even people who haven't seen the Alien movies know about it. It's the kind of monster design that sticks with you forever. Now, what makes the Xenomorph so effective in its design? I'm going to say this wrong. Don't get on to me about it. H.R. Geiger created something that looks biomechanical, part machine, part insect, part nightmare. The smooth, eyeless head, the double jaw that shoots out the acid blood, every detail makes it feel like a predator that's built to be unstoppable. Now, I love the design and appearance of this. I have tried to draw it multiple times. I cannot draw it. I The Xenomorph is just the coolest design, I think. I was gonna put Predator in here, but I had to choose Xenomorph. Um, I will tell you that I have not seen all the movies yet. Um, when I was in the behavioral hospital, I tried to watch the first one, but nobody was having it. Nobody wanted to watch it. They were like, "This is so boring." I was like, "No, it's not. It gets better. It gets better." Um, but yeah, so I will say I have not watched all of them, but I have watched a couple of the Predator movies, and I'm excited for the new one. Um, but let's just get right back into this. What I love about sorry, what I love is how the xenomorph isn't just scary on its own. It changes the entire vibe of the story. You've got this isolated crew trapped in space, and suddenly they're being hunted by something they can't reason with, can't escape from, and definitely can't kill easily. It's claustrophobic, it's primal, and it taps into that deep fear of being hunted. Now, to me, the xenomorph is the definition of the perfect monster. It doesn't need a backstory, it doesn't need a motive, it just exists to kill and reproduce. And that pure simplicity is what makes it so terrifying. Plus, let's be honest, the design is gorgeous in the most horrifying way possible. So yeah, when I think of iconic movie monsters, the xenomorph is always right at the top of the list. Now, this next one might not look like a monster at first glance, but trust me, he's one of the most horrifying of them all. I'm talking about Bondrewd from Mid Abyss. Bondrewd is this mysterious white whistle delver known as the Lord of Dawn. He wears a sleek black suit of armor with glowing purple eyes on his helmet. It's more of like slits, kind of, not really eyes. On the outside, he looks calm, polite, even charming at times. But underneath all that, he's an absolute monster. What makes Bondrewd so terrifying is his complete lack of humanity. He's obsessed with research and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the abyss, no matter the cost. And that means using people, even children, as test subjects. He performs cruel, inhumane experiments without hesitation, training human lives like tools of his ambition. Um, I will say I'm going to spoil something right now. If you want to watch it or you want to read it, skip to this time on screen. Um, the scene that makes him the most monstrous is when so he has this daughter named Prushka, and she's the cutest little girl. Like, love her, love her, love her, love her. Um, and he decides, I forget the context exactly, but he decides to make her, to torture her, and basically put her being inside this little box or crate. Again, I forget what it's called. I haven't read it in a while, and I haven't watched it in a while. Um, but he puts her being inside this little box, to use kind of like as fuel or something. Again, I could be getting this wrong, but it's the saddest thing ever. And he also like experiments on children, trying to make them like, I don't know, they get like animal like Nanachi was one of his uh, ones that actually worked. And then MIDI didn't work. Oh yeah, he was experimenting with what happens when you go down into the abyss and come back up. And yeah, I don't know. It's just it's awful. Um, but okay, let's get back into it. Um, the worst part, you can't really stop him. Bondrewd has this terrifying ability to essentially live on through others. His consciousness can transfer into new bodies, which makes him feel unstoppable. You'd feed him, and he comes right back, like nothing happened. Um, in a way, Bondrewd is scarier than some of the other monsters on this list because he's still human. He's not a demon. He's not an alien. Um, he's like you and me. He's not folklore. He's a man who willingly sacrificed every shred of morality to chase knowledge. And that kind of evil, that cold, calculated cruelty, makes him one of the most monstrous characters in anime. The thing that chills me the most is how polite and composed he always is. He doesn't rage, he doesn't scream, he smiles, well, you think he smiles. He thanks you and then he destroys you. The contrast between his calm demeanor and his horrific actions, that's what makes Bondrewd unforgettable. Now, last but definitely not least, we have Stain from Boku no Hero Academia. And I had to put another anime character in here. I wanted to do multiple, but I couldn't make it the whole thing about anime characters. If you want me to make a video about the villains in anime and which ones are my favorite and which ones are, not the best, because I want to do some Demon Slayer ones too. Let me know, drop me a comment, and I'll get onto that. Um, but yeah, Stain. Honestly, I love this character, not just for what he represents, but his design and straight up terrifying appearance. I had an Instagram dedicated to him. This is just a funny side note. I had an Instagram dedicated to him, and I didn't realize that it was backed up to my Facebook with like all my family, and I was thirsting after Stain. People were like, they're like, "Did you mean to post this?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, like shit." No, I didn't mean to post it because I also had like pictures of Gojo on there, like shirtless. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't post anything more than that." Um, but yeah, okay. Um, where was I? Um, mm, Stain is known as the hero killer, and the moment you see him, you get why people are scared of him. His design is wild, bandaged face, jagged teeth, and his long red scarf almost flowing like blood, and those swords strapped all over his body. He looks like he walked straight out of a nightmare. And what makes him terrifying isn't his appearance, it's his presence. He's fast, he's brutal, and his quirk, Blood Curdle, lets him paralyze you just by tasting your blood. Imagine trying to fight someone who can literally freeze you in place with a single cut. It's horrifying. But here's the thing, Stain isn't just a mindless villain. He has this twisted philosophy about hero society and believing that only true, selfless heroes deserve to exist, and everyone else is a fraud. And that conviction makes him even scarier because he believes in what he's doing. He doesn't see himself as a monster. He doesn't see himself as, or he sees himself as a cure to a corrupt society and system. And that's why he's so effective. Even other villains and heroes acknowledge from his words left, that his words left a mark on society. He's one of those rare characters who's terrifying both physically and oh my god. Oh, when I was filming this before I got this wrong again. I cannot say this word. Ideologically. Ooh, ideologically. I got it right. Um for me, it's his design, uh and that intense feral vibe he gives off when you make sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm keeping this in here because it's kind of funny. Um, for me, it's his design and that intense feral vibe he gives off that makes Stain unforgettable. He's proof that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't demons or aliens; they're people with terrifying convictions, and the power to back them up. Okay, before I wrap this up, I have to give an honorable mention to Zipper T Bunny from Animal Crossing. Yeah, you heard me right. This dude is terrifying. He shows up once a year for Bunny Day, all happy and cheerful, bouncing around like nothing's wrong. But come on, what's he hiding? Nobody is that happy all the time. And if you look closely, well, you actually don't have to look that closely. You can see a zipper on the back of his suit. So the real question is, who's under there? I don't know, I don't buy it. No villager is that chipper without some dark secret. He's either possessed, a government experiment, or, I don't know, Tom Nook in disguise trying to test how much psychological damage we can handle. All I know is Zipper T Bunny might just be the most unsettling monster Nintendo has ever created, and I will never trust him. So there you have it, some of my favorite monsters from literature, movies, anime, and even video games. From Art the Clown's brutal silence to Mothman's mysterious warnings, Krampus's, I hate that. Krampus's festive horror, the Xenomorph's perfect alien design, Bondrew's inhuman cruelty, and Stain's terrifying conviction. Each one of them stands out because they don't just scare you, they stick with you. They linger in your mind, whether it's through their design, their story, or just how they make you feel when you think about them. That's what makes a monster great. Not just being scary in the moment, but leaving an impact long after. And of course, I couldn't forget the honorable mention, Zipper T. Bunny. Still convinced he's hiding something. We may never know what, but one day, maybe Animal Crossing players will uncover the truth. So, what do you think? Did I miss one of your favorite monsters? Drop it in the comments because I'd love to hear what creatures you have that have haunted your imagination. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the real monsters are closer than you think.